Greene calls Gaza crisis a genocide, hinting at rift on the right over Israel. Marjorie Taylor Greene was the first Republican in Congress to use the term to describe the dire humanitarian situation in Gaza. But others in the MAGA movement have expressed growing concern about Israel. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia, an avatar of MAGA politics on Capitol Hill, this week became the first Republican in Congress to describe the situation in Gaza as a genocide, breaking sharply with her party in an indication of growing skepticism on the right about Israel's conduct of the war. It's the most truthful and easiest thing to say that October 7th in Israel was horrific and all hostages must be returned, but so is the genocide, humanitarian crisis, and starvation happening in Gaza, Ms. Greene said in a social media post on Monday evening. Her comments drew a clear contrast with the vast majority of Republicans in Congress, who have made unqualified support for Israel a hallmark of their foreign policy approach. Many of them, including Ms. Greene in the past, have attacked Democrats who have criticized Israel as anti-Semitic and sympathetic to terrorists. The vast majority of Republicans have not budged from that stance, but Ms. Greene's unvarnished language spoke to a simmering rift on the right just as President Trump on Monday acknowledged the starvation in Gaza after largely deflecting on the issue for months. Mr. Trump broke with President Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel, who has said there is no starvation in the war-torn enclave. In recent weeks, Ms. Greene and some other right-wing Republicans have grown more outspoken in opposing what is happening in the Middle East, particularly after Mr. Trump bombed Iran, enraging some in his America First base. The skepticism is not limited to Ms. Greene or to Capitol Hill, and appears to be gaining ground particularly among a younger generation less reflexively supportive of Israel. At a recent conservative student conference, Dave Smith, a libertarian commentator, drew applause during a debate moderated by the right-wing activist Charlie Kirk when he bluntly rejected the idea that the United States should be in lockstep with Israel. Obviously, Christians and Jews and Muslims have a connection to that land, but that doesn't mean we have to bomb Iran for Israel, he said on stage. He added that it also doesn't mean that we have to support Israel slaughtering people in Gaza. Matthew Brooks, the chief executive of the Republican Jewish Coalition, denounced Ms. Greene's remarks as part of an ongoing pattern of her saying outrageous and outlandish ridiculous things, and said that Mr. Trump, who is clearly standing unequivocally with Israel, defines the MAGA point of view. This is not about it being the dam breaking in MAGA world, he said. But he also acknowledged an uptick in skepticism toward Israel among younger people on the right, attributing it to their ignorance about the issues. What we're seeing among young MAGA people is an ill-informed view of things, Mr. Brooks said, adding that it was challenging to educate this generation while working with other groups. I don't think they are anti-Israel, I think they are getting incorrect information and are getting impacted by social media, he said. Stephen K. Bannon, the former White House chief strategist who now hosts an influential right-wing podcast, said that even though Ms. Greene was in the distinct minority among congressional Republicans, her views reflected her political base. Marjorie Taylor Greene just reflects her constituency. I don't think she's an outlier at all, Mr. Bannon said in an interview on Tuesday, adding that she is channeling hardcore evangelical Christians. Should that view take hold more broadly inside the GOP, it would be a remarkable shift from the traditional Republican foreign policy view of Israel, which is driven in large part by Christian beliefs in the biblical importance of Jerusalem. It is not clear how many other Republicans will follow the lead of Ms. Greene, who has long been among the few GOP members of Congress who publicly questions American support for Israel. The Georgia Republican, the first QAnon supporter to be elected to Congress, also has trafficked in anti-Semitic conspiracy theories, including when she suggested in a 2018 Facebook post that a devastating wildfire that ravaged California was started by a laser beamed from space and controlled by a prominent Jewish banking family with connections to powerful Democrats. Still, Ms. Greene is not alone among her Republican colleagues in criticizing what is happening in Gaza. Standing with Israel means eliminating every barbaric Hamas terrorist, Representative Lance Gooden of Texas wrote on social media, in a quote Ms. Greene recirculated. It also means rejecting the killing and starvation of children in Gaza. In the Senate on Tuesday, there were few signs of any shift among Republicans. Senator Lindsey Graham, Republican of South Carolina, said there was no genocide occurring. Senator Tom Tillis of North Carolina said the label was an inflammatory distraction. And when asked for his view, Senator Bernie Moreno of Ohio simply repeated, Hamas. 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 Once the group laid down its weapons, he added, we're good to go. Ms. Greene, however, has issued a series of escalating criticisms of Israel. Earlier this month, she said in a statement that Israel bombed the Catholic Church in Gaza, and that entire population is being wiped out as they continue their aggressive war in Gaza. The remarks were made after a failed bid, led by Ms. Greene, to strip $500 million of American military funding that Congress had approved as part of its annual defense support for Israel. The effort failed with only 6 members, 2 Republicans and 4 Democrats, voting in favor. That coalition included Representative Rashida Tlaib, Democrat of Michigan and the only Palestinian American serving in Congress. The pairing of Ms. Greene and Ms. Tlaib was an unlikely one. Ms. Greene 2 years ago led a failed effort to censure Ms. Tlaib, accusing her of anti-Semitic activity and sympathizing with terrorists, after the Democrat spoke at a pro-Palestinian protest about the dehumanizing conditions in Gaza and called for lifting the blockade against humanitarian aid. On Sunday, Ms. Greene posted on social media that she could unequivocally say that what happened to innocent people in Israel on October 7 was horrific. Just as I can unequivocally say that what has been happening to innocent people and children in Gaza is horrific.